Oh, sorry, my correction. That is Quinton Pepper, number 15, not number 12. Jaden Grant now working it up for the Falcons. He'll dump it in. His line mates will go for a change. He'll buy them more time by going to forecheck and laying a big hit there on Mason Pullman. Now Jaden Grant, a quick shot will be blocked. Not sure who got down to make that block. There was 2 Tommies in the area. Shot from the point will be deflected off Martin's stick and will go wide. Now St. Thomas working the puck up. Eventually, Richard Simonovich will get it behind the net for the Falcons. Connor Levis, the freshman, dumps it into the zone. Maxwell Martin, the sophomore, on the forecheck, lays a hit. St. Thomas eventually will get the puck back. Bit of a miscommunication there as half the line goes for a change, the other half stayed on the ice, not intentional, and now onto the ice comes the starting lineup for the Falcons. BG doing a good job forechecking so far. Neither team able to get a lot of sustained pressure. If they do get a chance, it's usually very quickly and then taken care of. Now quick shot here, rebound for Wynot was almost there, couldn't quite find the tape. St. Thomas trying to work it in. Puck pinned in the corner. Eventually, I believe that's Crampton will work it out. So Waters works it out, dumps it to central ice. He'll go for a change. Breck McKinley will find the puck. Gets this to his defensive partner, Niedermeyer, who will try and give it to Wynot, who will wear a check from Gaffney. Saved by Steinman. Now Emerson will work it up. Ben Durant dumps it in. Quinn Emerson on the forecheck. We'll get to the puck first. His line mate, Noah Murnau, dumps it back in. This line has been very good at least last weekend, with both Ryman and Noah Murnau winning CCJ Player of the Week awards, with Murnau winning the Forward of the Week and Ryman getting the Rookie of the Week. Now it's hands for St. Thomas taken care of by Steinman. Not much of an opportunity. And it'll be iced by Steinman. Faceoff will be, it'll be frozen by Steinman. Faceoff will be in BG's end to the left side of Steinman. As I mentioned earlier, not much sustained pressure so far for either team. Very quick chances that have been taken care of very easily by the 2 goaltenders. Face-off will be won by Jaden Grant, but we will have a redo. It's Jaden Grant versus Nathan Piling of the Tommies. Both of these teams, these are 2 of the better face-off players for both of these teams, and it'll be won by Jaden Grant, who continues to extend his lead as the team's leading face-off winner. Hodson dumped it in, and it was stopped by Trotter behind his net. Now working it up for St. Thomas is Lucas Van Leet. Now a penalty is going to come against the Falcons. And they'll touch up. We'll see who goes to the box. Lucas Van Vliet was charging the net. He was pushed off course by Jacob Niedermeyer, and Jacob Niedermeyer takes a penalty on the play. Waiting to hear the call from the official. And it will be Jacob Niedermeyer to the box for 2. Didn't quite make out what the call was. But St. Thomas, nonetheless, will go on the power play. Maxwell Martin quickly, shorthanded, trying to work it up, get an opportunity. Dumps it into the far corner of his offensive zone. Maxwell Martin trying to pin the puck behind the net, kill off some of this penalty. Niedermeyer for holding was the call. Now St. Thomas trying to work it back on the power play. Their captain, Lucas Wallen, working it in. Dumped it around. Gaffney dumps it back in. Jake Brasini chases after it. Eventually it'll be tapped out by Martin and out of the zone. The Falcons will go for a quick change here while shorthanded. St. Thomas gets the puck behind Trotter. They're working it up now. Trying to regroup is St. Thomas, taking their time. before they enter the zone. Gaffney to Wallen. Back to Gaffney. Attempted. Pass wasn't quite on the tape. And eventually it'll be taken care of by the Falcons. Taken back by St. Thomas. Up at the point is Chase Cheslock waiting, passing it over. Back to Chase Cheslock at the point. Right where the CCHA logo would be at the Slater family. That's right. Try to pass to Gaffney. Just missed. Gaffney was right on the goal line looking for a tap in. Couldn't quite get it here. Lucas Wallen. Holding it now on the power play. BG not able to. Now eventually they will get it out of the zone thanks to Simonovic. And BG will quickly go for a change. St. Thomas will do the same. So new penalty killers and new power play men for both squads. Passing it around is St. Thomas. Chase Cheslock, quick shot will be blocked by the stick of Ivan Karodik up into the air. And eventually Ivan Karodik went to dump the puck down, and instead his true twig, true being the brand, snapped. Bender ran now, shorthanded. And now the penalty is up for Jackson Niedermeyer. So BG kills off the penalty. And now they have momentum in their own zone. Bender ran, dumps it around. Brett Foe behind the net, picks it up, looking for an opportunity. Brody Waters now on the forecheck. Multiple players on the forecheck now for the Falcons. They are not letting St. Thomas get it out of their zone. And right when I say that, St. Thomas gets it out of the zone, dumps it in. No icing call, but Crampton will pick it up behind Steinman. Hits the brakes, makes one. Tommy go flying. Now working it up is Jeremy Min. Will try to pass it right in front of Trotter, and down goes a Falcon into the crease, trying to get out. It was Foe, got shoved right into the crease, right into the goal. Made contact a little bit with Trotter. Will be able to leave the crease and go to the bench for a change. Now the top line of Ryman, Orno, and Emerson out there. Mentioned how good they were last week. Quick shot by Emerson on a tight angle will be taken care of by Trotter. 12:31 remaining here in the first period. Not much action from either team. We saw a couple good passes on the St. Thomas power play, but no truly dangerous opportunities except for that pass from Chase Cheslock down to Alex Gaffney, who was waiting on the doorstep for a tap-in goal and just couldn't pull the trigger, couldn't find the puck. Shots on goal through the first period so far are 3-3 in favor of neither team. Face-off in the St. Thomas zone. It'll be Grant versus Wallen. We keep mentioning Grant's name in the face-off dot. He is, as I keep mentioning, the leading face-off winner. He'll be kicked out, though, of the face-off, so now Tyler Hodson will take it. And it'll be won by Lucas Wallen of St. Thomas. St. Thomas trying to work it up. Lucas Wallen tries to dump it in. He will. He'll be the first one to the puck on the forecheck. Being pinned along the boards by Jackson Niedermeyer. Zunka in a puck battle with Alex Gaffney. Eventually, they'll find the stick of a Falcon. It'll be Adam Zunka working the puck up. Over to center ice logo. Passing over to Tyler Hodson. Now another kerfuffle behind the net. Eventually, Lucas Wallen finds the puck for St. Thomas. Gaffney had it for a second and then gave it to Ryan O'Neill, who'll dump it in as the teams go for changes. Now BG working it back up. Back and forth so far this game. Quick shot by Mark. Quick rebound opportunity. Another rebound. Both saved by Aaron Trotter. Original shot from Maxwell Martin. Saved by Trotter. And then I believe 2 rebound opportunities quickly taken by Braden Crampton. The defenseman getting up close, almost in the blue paint. Gets 2 more quick opportunities off. Both taken care of by Aaron Trotter. The first one with the chest, the second one with the glove. Eventually that glove save will allow him to freeze the puck. Face-off will be in St. Thomas's end, though. They'll try and dump it out. Max Warner keeps it in. Now St. Thomas trying to skate it out, but BG not letting him so far as they continue to hold the puck in. Jeremy Minville and a quick call for offside. Jeremy Minville got the puck, tried to skate it in. His line mates weren't fully out of the zone. Faceoff will be in neutral ice. On the ice now for the Falcons, that starting lineup, Duran, Waters, and Wynot. Simonovic and Crampton back on D. A noticeable absence on the BG bench tonight is the assistant captain, Gustav Sternberg. He is currently injured. Will not make an appearance tonight. That's a big loss for the Falcons. Gustav Sternberg brings leadership to this team, and he also brings physicality and a little bit of goal scoring. BG dumps it all the way down the ice, and this will go for an icing. Mentioned in the pregame show by both Dan and Nate, the brand new arena here in St. Paul, Minnesota for St. Thomas, the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena. Must say it is a beautiful arena, arguably the best college arena I've been in. I would say, from a personal note, I do probably still prefer the Slaters. A quick shot from the point by Williams goes wide. Waters finds the puck in the neutral ice, passing it over to Duran, the center. Duran's still looking for his first goal of the year as a shot will go by Trotter. Waters finds the puck. Quick shot was deflected off a couple of Tommies and will go wide. Now, Lucas Van Vliet gets the puck on the forecheck in the offensive zone for the Tommies. St. Thomas trying to set up a play now. Buying time with the puck. Eventually they make a pass to the wrong color jersey. And BG's able to take it away, but still on the forecheck is St. Thomas. Puck is still in the offensive zone for them. Eventually, Ivan Karodiak takes it away, will dump it out. Tried to get it to the neutral ice. It'll be taken care of by Hayes Hunley. Keeps it in on the blue line. And a quick shot there will go just shy of the netting. Hitting off the top side of the back wall. Dumped all the way down by the Falcons. No icing call this time. Eventually the Falcons will get it in the neutral zone. Ryman gets it, carries it over to center ice Logo. Trying to find a play, and he will wear a check, but stays on his feet. Able to keep out on the forecheck. Did lose the puck, but able to stay in the play for the forecheck. Now Jaden Grand's line out on the ice now. With Foe, and Ryman goes for a change. St. Thomas trying to work a counterattack. In the offensive zone now for St. Thomas, taken care of by BG. One of the BG players has lost the glove. It's sitting on the ice, just waiting for someone to pick it up, and eventually Foe flips it up and into the bench. Tyler Hodson making a pass over to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer will just dump it into the offensive zone where St. Thomas will take care of it, but BG once again strong on the forecheck. Breck McKinley gets the puck once again. Now Martin will dump it into the zone. BG once again on the forecheck. BG's forecheck has been strong. Quick shot will be blocked. Shot by, I believe that is Maxwell Martin. Quick shot was blocked. Now Jeremy Midwell getting the puck. The freshman from Quebec in the corner where he knocked off the puck. Still fighting for it from his knees. Eventually Dalton Norris will get it in the neutral ice, and once again dumped in by Maxwell Martin. No one able to fully find the puck, and now eventually it's O'Neal who will dump it into the far corner for St. Thomas this time. Quick shot by Gaffney from a tight angle. And then O'Neal takes a big hit at the end there. And you heard it. We will now take a quick break for the intermission timeout. This timeout is sponsored by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. You're listening to WBGU 80.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey.
Check out recaps of this and every BGSU hockey match online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Welcome back to the brand new Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm Nathan Burkett here on WBGU 80.1 FM, bringing you some Falcon hockey. Score remains 0-0. 8:06 remains in the first frame of play. Bowling Green has now taken the lead in the shots on goal race, though. 7-4 is their advantage. At the very end there, a couple quick opportunities from Ryan O'Neill and Alex Gaffney, taken care of by Steinman. Face-off, though, will be in BG's end. We'll take this moment to describe the jerseys of both teams. Bowling Green wearing their orange. I would say they're aways, but they've worn them at both home and away. They're with orange jerseys, black pants, orange skates. Orange jerseys, brown pants, orange socks, black skates, and brown helmets, with Bowling Green in word mark across the front. St. Thomas wearing their white homes. Quick save by Steinman will be taken care of, and he takes care of the rebound as well. St. Thomas wearing their white homes with purple helmets, white jerseys with purple lettering and purple numbers, purple pants and white socks, and of course both teams wearing black skates. Face off to the right side of Steinman after another good save by the freshman goalkeeper. Spent last season with the Halifax Mooseheads at the QMJHL, was one of the QMJHL's best goaltenders last season. Face off won by St. Thomas. Chase Chesla, quick shot from the point will be taken care of by Ryman. The freshman gets a block. Now Norman No trying to dump it into central ice. Quick shot there by Piling, taken care of by Steinman. Chase Cheslock to Van Vliet. Tapped by Piling, eventually taken care of by Morneau. Morneau dumps it into the zone for the Falcons. So the Falcons will go for a change, but now an icing call against the Falcons. So those line changes they just made will have to be reversed, as you cannot change after an icing call. So some tired Falcons will need to get back onto the ice and defend with the face-off to the left side of Jacob Steinman. Steinman making multiple good saves so far tonight. Steinman playing in his 6th game of his college career. Face-off was won by BG, but it was eventually pinned in the corner, and it'll be tapped. And it looks like no icing. It was tipped. So BG is able to get a line change off. Crody immediately steps on the ice and lays a hit on O'Neill. Steinman trying to make a play behind his net. Eventually finds Zlunka's stick. Jane Grant able to make a move. St. Thomas gets the puck back in their own defensive end, facing the BG force check. Eventually they'll get it to the offensive zone. O'Neill cross ice pass to Lucas Wallen, could not find the tape. Evan Krodik behind the net. Had a pass up to Zlunka, missed the tape. Go all the way down the ice, and will be another icing call against the Falcons. 6:42 remain here in the first frame. Stay tuned here on WBGU 80.1 FM for the full game, including potentially, along with regulation, potentially shootouts and overtime. Not in that order. Would not be a stranger, as BG won both of the last 2 games last weekend against Fair State in regulation, but before that, the 4 games previous to that had 4 overtimes and 3 shootouts. We mentioned it during the pregame show. This game is also a rematch of last season's Mason Cup semifinal, where BG playing at the, I wouldn't say old because it's still in use, but the former home of St. Thomas Tommy's Hockey, St. Thomas Ice Arena. St. Thomas good. Quick shot will go high and wide. But St. Thomas Ice Arena in Mendota Heights, Minnesota, where BG season came to an end last year due to a 3-1 loss. So far, though, this game still remains tied. Ivan Karodiak picks up the puck behind the net and behind Steinman. Makes passes deep partner, Rihard Simonovic. who will dump it all the way down, but it was tipped into the zone by Brett Foe. Foe skating as an extra skater tonight, not given a specific line. Will probably be skating through on all 3 lines except what is listed as the top line of Morneau, Emerson, and Ryman. But Coach Woolley does like to make moves in his lines throughout the night, so we'll see where he ends up. Maxwell Martin in the defensive zone, trying to get the puck out of the defensive zone. And that task falls upon Braden Crampton. One of the Leyland brothers, Casey Leyland, got an opportunity over to Cole Miller, the assistant captain, who took a shot that was saved by Steinman. Now Foe right in front, takes a shot, and will go up and into the netting. A quick play in the offensive zone for Brett Foe. Steals the puck like a magician. Quick shot on Trotter. I don't know if it was saved by Trotter or went off the netting, but it goes up into the netting that surrounds the ice here at the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena, protecting the fans behind the nets from stray pucks and stoppage of play. And Bowling Green will once again roll out that starting lineup of Ben Duran, Brody Waters, and Brandon Wynot. Brandon Wynot last weekend able to score his first career point in college hockey during BG's 5-2 victory over Fair State on Saturday night. Quick shot, faked shot from McKinley now. He'll take a shot from the point. That will be saved by Trotter. Now a breakaway opportunity for Van Vliet. McKinley able to get back. He'll take a penalty on the play though. And it's going to be a holding call going against McKinley. Van Vliet got the puck on a breakaway pass. Looked like he was going to be one-on-one with Steinman. Breck McKinley gets back, wraps him up to stop the opportunity, but in the process gets a holding call against him. That might be a situation where Coach Williams, depending on what happens on this power play for St. Thomas, you might be willing to accept that because Steinman did not have to face that breakaway opportunity. Bowling Green penalty kill comes out for the second time tonight. They killed off their earlier penalty. And they do it again. Lucas Wong will take the face-off for St. Thomas, and he will lose to Noah Burnell, the freshman. Fresh off winning the CCJ Forward of the Week award. St. Thomas tries to get up to the point. Now Wallen, who's at the point originally. Quick shot tipped by Brasini. Not much of a shot, just more of a tip shot. And now eventually a pass by Wallen looking for O'Neal will be picked off by Morneau and dumped all the way down the ice. And BG's penalty killers are able to get a line change. Now out for the penalty killers of Bowling Green, we have Jaden Grant, Niedermeyer, and Simonovic on D, and then Maxwell Martin joining Grant as the other forward. Wallen working it in for the power play. Quick shot save. Now another jump to it. It's loose in front. O'Neal had a rebound opportunity that was blocked. Jacob Steinman was down and out after the original save. One of the penalty killers able to make a key block. Keeps this game tied 0-0. There were multiple penalty killers behind Steinman on that play. Now another shot from Piling this time on the power play for St. Thomas will go high of Steinman. Van Vliet to Cheslock. Cheslock tried a pass shot, but eventually he'll find Wynot stick, and he'll dump it all the way down, and BG once again goes for a change. On that play, there are multiple penalty killers behind Steinman after he made the original save. Actually, I guess it was the second save of that series of attack. Now a face-off will come to neutral ice after an offside call. It goes against St. Thomas, but multiple makes the first two saves this time, and they're showing a replay of it here at the big score, or on the big board. Makes the original save. O'Neal gets a second opportunity. And I'm trying to see who. Oh my! I stand corrected. Jacob Steinman down and out, reached over with the stick and able to get it. What a save by Jacob Steinman on that play. There only 3 minutes remain here in the first period of play. Only 10 seconds for McKinley's penalty as he is standing up in the box ready to jump out as BG dumps it all the way down the ice as they go for one last line change on this penalty kill. 2-1, McKinley is free. Ran into one of his teammates. They have a collision and McKinley's way to the box, or not to the box, to the bench to get a change. BG making changes as they get their penalty killers off and their top line of attack back on. St. Thomas holds in the defensive end, trying to find a play. Eventually, BG able to get the puck in the defensive zone. McKinley passing up to Duran. Duran tried to chip pass up to Waters and went off a St. Thomas stick and into the BG bench. 2:09 here in the first frame. St. Thomas has now taken over the shots on goal battle. 10-9 in favor of the Tommies so far this game. Faceoff will be right in front of the BG bench in the neutral zone. Won by St. Thomas. Dumped in by Cole Miller, the assistant captain. In the offensive zone is Wallen. Quick shot by Miller, fanned on it. Now Martin tries to work it up for the Falcons. To Zlunka into the offensive zone. Drop pass to Martin. Martin works to the inside. Quick shot will be blocked and up into the netting. Great little passing play there by the Falcons. Unfortunately, does not even lead to a shot on goal. Going back though, I know I keep mentioning about what a save by Jacob Steinman. Seemed to be down and out, reached over with the stick and gets it. That's the kind of save we saw last year at a Christian Stover. Expect that save on the CCHA top 10 plays of the week. Face off in St. Thomas's end. Won by Jaden Grant and the Falcons. Brett Foe on the ice. Tried a tough angle shot, went behind the net. Norris keeps it in at the blue line. Dumping it in was Norris. Eventually, still keeping it in was Norris. Not able to get a good opportunity off. Now Foe hits the brakes. Try a quick shot. Hit off another St. Thomas player in the slot. Jeremy Minville trying to work it out as Foe has a St. Thomas player pinned along the boards in the corner in the offensive zone. They hit the ice. St. Thomas not able to get the puck out. The forecheck for Bowling Green too strong right now. Shot goes wide from the Falcons. Connor Levis has the puck for BG. Working up to the point with Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer has in the point. Tried a shot. Tip shot there by Ryman just goes wide. 1 minute, you heard it, remaining here in the first period of play. Ryman enters the zone, takes a quick shot, taken care of with the glove of Trotter. BG now gets puck in the neutral zone. Niedermeyer passing it over to McKinley. McKinley tried to pass. It was tipped by Emerson, who now eventually will win a puck battle, but then lose the next puck battle and be knocked off his skates. Bassini, quick opportunity for St. Thomas, dropping it back to Shane. Shane, quick pass, blocked by a player for BG. Then Bassini got a great opportunity. It was saved by Steinman again. Steinman is stepping up when he needs to so far early in this first period of play. 10 seconds remain. Dumped in by Wynot. Only 6 seconds remain. Not much time for a forecheck, but they'll try. St. Thomas, with only 2 seconds left, will just take the puck behind the net and kill off the rest of this first period of play. Score after the first period, 0-0. Shots on goal is also tied at 10 apiece, with Steinman making multiple key saves throughout that period. A couple opportunities where it looked like he was down and out, stepped up, stood tall, able to keep BG in this tied game. We're going to take a break here from the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul. Stay tuned to WBGU 80.1 FM. When we come back, you're going to hear Nate and Dan talk as part of the Rick Crow Intermission Report, first intermission report. I'm Nathan Burkett, live from St. Paul, Minnesota. You're listening to WBGU 80.1 FM.
Welcome into our Falcon Media Sports Network first intermission report. It is brought to you by Rick Rowe, longtime BGSU hockey fan and listener of Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM. Welcome back into the WBGU 88.1 FM studio here in the Clean Center. I'm Nate Henners, joined once again by Dan Ridenauer. And Dan, not a super eventful first period, but can you give us a recap of what did happen?
Well, in theory, I mean, it hasn't been quote-unquote
tied up 0-0. So compared to where we were last Friday with I don't know, what was it, like we ended up with 14 goals by the end of the night. Compared to that, at least quiet.
Well, yeah, it's been more quiet so often. I mean, that was the most goals BG scored in a single game since their WCHA days. But, you kind of can look a little bit more in depth past the 0-0, I guess, moniker that you see at the top. I mean, looking at shots on goal so far, it's kind of even so far. The Falcons have 10, the Tommies have 11. And then looking a little bit more in depth as well, Quinn Emerson and Braden Crampton both have 3 shots on net so far today. And then you also look, too, kind of with the face-offs where the play likes to develop and where it starts. St. Thomas is doubled on Bowling Green in that so far in 12-6. And then also another thing that we should mention, Bowling Green playing their more undisciplined physical style of hockey. They have 2 penalties so far today. So that's kind of what we're seeing currently, both those penalties being on Niedermeyer and then Breck McKinley. But interesting to see as well how Bowling Green is still bringing the physicality even with Gustav Sternberg out of the lineup today.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll talk more about that coming up right after this. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM. And welcome back to the Rick Crow First Intermission Report here on WBGU 88.1 FM. The Falcons and St. Thomas Tommies, I love that name, but they are tied at 0-0 here at the end of the first period. But Dan, if you recapped the first period, but now what are you looking for the second and third for the rest of the game?
Well, it seems like this game so far, Nate, is a little more lukewarm than what we were anticipating. I mean, obviously you're not going to have the level that you had against Ferris State, and hockey is the roller coaster of all roller coasters when it comes to sports. But, you're just seeing a bit more of a defensive and a more of a goaltending style of game tonight between both Bowling Green and St. Thomas. I mean, Jacob Steinman's been a great guy to look out for, and then so has Aaron Trotter with St. Thomas so far this season. So we kind of knew that coming into today it'd be like that, but if we're reverting back to the keys that we talked about in the pregame show, Nate, is just a lot of having to strike first. And we haven't seen that really from not just Bowling Green, but really either team so far today is wanting to go first. It's just a lukewarm hockey game so far tonight, and we're going to have to see how that will change. If I had it into my perfect mind, Bowling Green's going to go out there right out of the gate and start it off, but it's going to have to develop. The play's going to have to get there. They're going to have to start things out. I mean, we're seeing Duran's having a bit of a rough night on the faceoff. He's lost 5 so far tonight. Jaden Grant has done the same, and Noah Morneau has lost 3 as well. So those kind of looking out for when you're looking at the centers, who kind of also, though, they're in a bit of a predicament as well, especially in games like this that are more defensive, because they not only have to go try to create the chances, but they also have to go back and play defense. And Bowling Green also in a bit of a struggle tonight with Gustav Sternberg out of the lineup, so they're kind of what's the word you want? They're relying on Ivan Krodiak so far a lot tonight, and Jaden Grant are 2 that we're seeing in the lineup getting some good minutes, and then Reham Simonovics as well. Those are kind of 3 that I'm looking at. And Maslinka, though, kind of picking it back up that we saw when he was playing against Minnesota State that weekend. So it's good to see him. And then also Jackson Niedermeyer and Breck McKinley, the 2 Falcons to take a penalty so far tonight. So those are kind of the things that I'm looking at. And just beyond that, really, it's just got to stop being a lukewarm hockey game between these 2. And it's going to have to be an opportunity on who's going to actually want to strike first in this one.
Taking a look now at what's going on around the CCHA. First, starting off with our early matchup for tonight, Lake Superior State and Ferris State. Lake Superior is up 2-0 on Ferris State as they get into the third, 15-17 left for that matchup. 2 other matchups right now in the same place we are, end of first, kind of in that second intermission. Bemidji State is up on Northern Michigan 1-0, and Minnesota State up on Michigan Tech 1-0. So that's what's going on around the CCHA this evening. Taking a look at what else is going on in Falcon Athletics. Of course, we have that Bowling Green and Ohio MAC tournament volleyball game going on now. And the Falcons got the first 2 sets. Third, though, went to Ohio. So they're now in a 4th set over at the Stroh Center. And right now it just is tied up 9-9 between the Bobcats and the Falcons. You can check out that matchup over on Falcon Radio right now. And then coming up after that matchup over on Falcon Radio, we'll have some women's basketball from Alaska as the Falcons take on UC Irvine tonight with a 9:15 tip-off. So going right from volleyball to women's basketball over on Falcon Radio this evening. And will certainly be interesting to see if the Falcons make it on to tomorrow. So becoming closer between Ohio and the Falcons. Again, Falcons get the first 2 sets. Ohio gets the third. Right now it's 10-9 with the Falcons having that slight lead. But again, it is a very close matchup right now over on Falcon Radio for MAC Tournament Volleyball. Let's take one more short commercial break right now. We'll send things on out to Nathan Burkett up in Minnesota after that. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM. Nate Henners and Daniel Ridenauer wrapping things up here for our Rick Crow first intermission report here on WBGU 88.1 FM. Getting ready to send things on out to Nathan Burkett for the second period. Of course, though, that Falcon volleyball matchup going on Falcon Radio. So, you can flip back and forth, listen to both at the same time. Maybe one ear is Falcon Radio, one ear is WBGU. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, you are listening to WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio. And time now to send things back on out to St. Paul, Minnesota, over with Nathan Burkett up at St. Thomas. How's it going up there?
Pretty good. And a personal note, for the first time in my broadcasting career, I will be sitting in a chair for a period of broadcasting. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see. I'll keep everyone in the audience updated or not. I decide to remain in my usual standing in the third period, or if I decide to continue sitting in these very comfortable chairs they have here at the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena. In the first period of play for both these teams, score remains tied. They have updated since the end of the first period. Shots are currently being led by St. Thomas 11-10. Both goaltenders making some key saves. In my opinion, Jacob Steinman making a few more highlight reel saves. In the weekly video put out by the CCHA of the top 10 plays, definitely expect a couple of his plays this week. Face off to begin the second frame at the center ice logo will be won by Ben Duran. Coach Willie put out the exact same starting lineup, or same lineup to start the second period as he did the first, of Karodiak, Norris, Duran, Waters, and Wynot. Waters gets the point. Right on the hash, took a shot, went wide. Karodiak stops it at the blue line, dumps it back in. Waters will be there with the forecheck. Taken by Cheslak, who will take a quick bump from, I believe that's Wynot. McKinley will poke the puck away from Williams to keep it in the zone. Now Ben Duran will lay a hit. Whalen will take it away. Shot there, quick opportunity, just goes wide. Lucas Wallen took a quick shot off a rebound. Now Gaffney trying to get the puck from away from McKinley. Wallen, the captain, up to the point. Hundley for St. Thomas trying to make a move, gets tripped up, and Ryman will go to the box. This is one call so far this game that I do not agree with so far. Both of the other two calls I will agree was a fair assumption of the play. In this situation, it seemed more like Hundley kind of just skated into Ryman's stick more than Ryman intentionally tripping him. But in hockey, a trip is a trip. Doesn't matter if you intended it or not. And for the third time so far this game, Bowling Green will be short-handed. Face-off won by the St. Thomas Tommies on the power play. Penalty killers for BG out there seem to be Maxwell Martin, Jaden Grant, Norris, and Ivan Karodiak. Cheslak on the power play for St. Thomas, trying a shot that was taken care of by Martin. Van Vliet to Cheslak at the point. Shane down to the center ice. Down to the goal line. Pass over to Van Vliet was deflected. And it jumped all the way down, and BG goes for a change. Now on the ice for the Falcons are Murnau, Emerson, Niedermeyer, and McKinley. St. Thomas with Van Vliet trying to work it up. Now Cheslak back to Van Vliet. Through neutral ice. Van Vliet holds it into the offensive zone. Trying to find a pass. Eventually he finds Gaffney, who's working around the point. O'Neal up to Williams at the point. Now Wallen, the captain, back to Williams. Holding it, looking for a play. Brasini tried to set up more of a passing play, and McKinley will pick it off and dump it all the way down the ice, allowing BG to once again go for a line change, keeping the legs fresh on this penalty kill. Now on the ice, Grant, Martin, Norris, and Karodiak, the same one that started. Karodiak uproots a Tommy. No call. And now Karodiak able to get the puck, dump it all the way down the ice, and force Trotter to play it. And once again, BG going for a line change, keeping the legs fresh. Bit of a slow change from the Falcons. And a shot from the point by Brasini, deflected off of Connor Levis's stick and up into the netting. Now on the ice, killing off this penalty for BG is Jeremy Minville, Connor Levis, Braden Crampton, and McKinley. Some of the power play players on this St. Thomas power play that has about only 8 seconds left. See if they can quickly do something. Face off to the left side of Steinman. Won by BG, and McKinley would dump it all the way down, not being able to be held in by the St. Thomas defender Pullman. And that will do it for the Bowling Green penalty. Ryman steps out onto the ice. Bowling Green back on full strength. They kill off the third penalty they've been tasked to killing off with so far. The penalty kill remains perfect. Dumped in by Jeremy Minville. Taken by Leyland. One of the Leyland brothers. Probably should clarify. Casey Leyland had it for a moment up at the point before it was knocked back in and dumped into the offensive zone by the Falcons. Now BG trying to work it through. Eventually St. Thomas will get it in the offensive zone. Once again, Casey Leyland, the younger of the two Leyland brothers on this St. Thomas team. Quick shot from the face-off. That will be taken care of by Steinman. Taking that shot was Hayes Hundley. And dumped all the way down the ice. And it'll be an icing call against BG. But mentioning the Leyland brothers, sometimes I forget to clarify which one's which. Playing center tonight from St. Michael, Minnesota, Luke Leyland, the senior, and then his younger brother joined his team last year, the sophomore now, Casey Leyland. Both playing on what is listed as the top line, although they did not start this game. Face off in the defensive zone for BG was won by the Falcons. Some tired legs perhaps after the icing call. BG trying to get the puck in the defensive zone. Taken by Ryman. Carries it over to center ice logo, dumps it into the offensive zone, and allows Bowling Green to go for a change. Now on the ice is the line of Duran, Waters, and Brett Foe, replacing Brandon Wynot, who has usually been on as the other wing on this line. A tight angle shot will be taken care of by Steinman, who will freeze it. 15:25 remain here in the second frame of play. St. Thomas starting to extend their lead when it comes to the shots on goal category. They are now up to 14. Soon to be 15 after they include that last shot that was saved by Steinman. Only 10 so far for BG. They are yet to get a shot on goal this period. To be fair, they did spend a major part of the time in this period so far killing off a penalty, but still yet to get a shot on goal. Now here, potentially an opportunity for them. Dumped into the offensive zone. Big hit by Emerson. Shot from the point goes wide. Does not count towards their still lack of shots on goal this period. Lucas Wallen for St. Thomas in the zone. Takes a quick shot. Blocked by Crampton. Now he'll pin it along the boards. Waiting for a teammate to find him. Eventually it'll be St. Thomas. Simonovic for BG picks it off. Try to pass. That went. And it was played eventually by Trotter, the defensive end. St. Thomas trying to set up a play in their own zone as Hodson will bump Gaffney. Now a pass that was intended for Gaffney to be a stretch pass will miss Gaffney, stick a little bit too far of a stretch for that stretch pass, and it'll be an icing call against St. Thomas. They are not able to change. BG will be able to change as they go get new skaters with Niedermeyer, McKinley, Grant, Hudson, and Zlunka on the ice for them. Still yet to get a shot on goal this period. This could be their opportunity. Jaden Grant last weekend able to score 2 goals and put himself as the second highest goal scorer on this team behind Morneau, as he's up to 4 goals on the season. He scored both those goals in the Saturday game against Fair State, the 5-2 victory at the Slater Family Ice Arena. Puck in the neutral zone eventually. Dumped in by the Falcons. Neither team able to get sustained pressure this period. Very similar to the first. Sorry. We did eventually in the first period see St. Thomas get some strong opportunities, and speak of the devil, they just got an icing call against them. So the opposite of what they want, which is creating sustained pressure. We saw a couple of opportunities where St. Thomas was able to force Steinman to make highlight reel saves, but BG so far this game unable to. Now timeout taken by, I believe, St. Thomas. Yep. St. Thomas will take a timeout. We have 13:52 remaining here in the second period of play. Score remains 0-0. We're going to take a quick break. This timeout is sponsored by Juniper Brewing Company, proud creators of the Ale Ziggy Zumba, a light ale made in collaboration with BG Athletics, a fan favorite in the Madhouse on Mercer. Also available at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green. For latest menus and Juniper Brewing Company details, go to juniperbrew.com. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon Hockey.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Welcome back to the Leon Penny Anderson Arena in St. Paul, Minnesota. The new home for St. Thomas Tommies hockey. Faceoff will be to the right side of Trotter after St. Thomas took a timeout. Keep mentioning it, BG still yet to get a shot on goal. This period now a shot from the point by Karodic will go up and into the netting. So they continue to look for that first shot on goal of the period with 13:44 remaining, so just over 6 minutes gone. Coach Williams' team's usually known for getting a high shot volume. Bit peculiar to see them go this long into a period without getting a shot on goal. St. Thomas will win the faceoff and dumped into the zone. Eventually Martin finds the puck, but he'll hold on to it briefly. Finds it again. Over to Karodiak. A backhanded pass over to Norris. Norris's pass will be picked off at the point and kept into the offensive zone by St. Thomas. Eventually, though, Connor Levis able to skate it away. Tried to dump it in, but once again, St. Thomas able to keep it in the zone. And the point shot by Barry for St. Thomas goes wide, I believe, after it was tipped. Now eventually the puck will finally be out of the defensive zone for the Falcons, and they will go for a change. No more no, dumps it in. St. Thomas trying to work the puck up. Shane stops, try to pass that eventually just flew. I won't say flew. Found its way on net. It was not, I do not believe, a shot opportunity. It was a pass opportunity that was not picked up. Eventually found its way to Steinman. He'll take care of it and cover it. I believe that will actually be considered a shot on goal. I don't think it was intended to be one, though. So face off to the left side of Steinman. Sorry. In the Bowling Green zone. Morneau versus Brasini. Brasini will get it. Chase Cheslak, a New Jersey Devil prospect, will poke check it deeper into the zone and eventually be lifted out of the zone by the Falcons all the way down the ice. Quick remote, try to have a shot. It's in the net. So it's in the blue paint. Multiple Falcons trying to find the rebound and eventually will be covered by Trotter. What an opportunity. It was, a pass was aired out all the way down the ice. Ryman on the forecheck, able to get to it, pickpocket a St. Thomas player, steal the puck, tried to set up a play, and no Falcon was able to fully get a good opportunity on it. Multiple rebound situations, but through the melee, BG will pick up their first shot on goal of the period. 12:21 remain. So a little bit under 8 minutes into the period, BG will finally get their first shot on goal. Face-off will be between Wallen and Durant to the left side of Trotter. Won by the Falcons. Niedermeyer, quick shot will be blocked. Waters couldn't quite get it. Now he will. Trying to get puck possession and hold on to it. Eventually, St. Thomas will take it back. Wallen trying to poke it into the zone. Great defense by McKinley. Will break up the play. Pullman for St. Thomas in his own end. Eventually, Gaffney will get the puck for the Tommies. Dump it in. And this puck will be another stretch pass that was intended for O'Neal. Will go far, and an icing call will come against the Tommies. Shots on goal so far this period, or sorry, so far in this game. 15-11 in favor of the Tommies. Face off in the offensive zone for the Falcons. Jaden Grant with his line of Zunka and Hodson on the ice, and Grant able to fight for a victory in the face-off. But unfortunately, St. Thomas steals the puck right after. They'll be able to get a line change out of this. And now they're trying to get even more, trying to create an opportunity, but BG's defense will not let them. BG's done a good job so far, other than a couple of situations in the first period, of not letting St. Thomas set up a offense in the offensive zone, not letting them create chances. Coach Julie mentioned in the press conference this week, you got to play a simple game, just try and get the win. It's okay to play boring games of hockey on the road. They're not here to sell St. Thomas's tickets. They're here to claim points towards the CCHA standings. They're here to claim wins. If you need to play a boring style of hockey to do that, so be it. Of course, on the road, he always emphasizes his job is to sell tickets to the home crowd. Quick shot by Levis at the slot will be going wide. Eventually, St. Thomas able to fight in their own zone. Foe lines up a hit and takes out Cheslock. BG holding it behind the goal line. Up to McKinley at the point. Over to Simonovic. Quick shot. Was blocked by a defender before it could reach Trotter. BG still has possession though. Levis behind the net. Over to Foe. Foe, quick shot. Saved by Trotter. He will quickly jump out and grab the rebound. 10:20 remain in the first period. Score remains tied at nothing apiece. Good opportunities now for BG. They're starting to set up passing plays in the offensive zone. Doing a good job of keeping St. Thomas from not doing that, which is the key. Again, defensively play a boring style of hockey. Don't let them create chances. A face-off that was originally won by Bordeaux will be quickly called back for a redo. And Bordeaux will be kicked out of face-off. Not the top line of Bordeaux, Emerson, and Ryman will be out there for the Falcons, as Emerson will now replace Bordeaux with the face-off dot. This face-off will be won by St. Thomas, who are able to try a quick shot by Piling as he quickly entered the offensive zone for St. Thomas, was taken care of and knocked wide by Emerson. Neither team able to get possession for a moment. Now eventually, the captain, Dalton Norris, makes a pass up to Bordeaux. Bordeaux dumps into the zone. Ryman lines up a hit. Steals the puck instead. Niedermeyer at the point, finds the puck. Working it in, tries a backhand that was blocked. What a move though by Niedermeyer, moving like his dad. The multi-time Stanley Cup champion and Hall of Famer. Quinn Emerson now, back to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer dumps it around the boards. Murnau tried a turnaround shot from a tough angle that was blocked. Midville able to steal the puck now. And it'll be dumped into the zone by St. Thomas, so they will get a change. BG tries to set something up. Quick stretch pass to Durant. He waits for help. Try to pass over to Midville, who tried the extra pass, looking for a tic-tac-toe goal, but that tic-tac pass got picked off. And now a penalty going to one of the teams for, I believe, a slash. Not sure who it's going to, but it will. I'm still not sure. They opened both of the penalty box's doors because for the Waters. So it will actually be Brody Waters going to the box. Offensive zone penalty, something you do not want to take for a slash. He'll go to the box for 2 minutes. And that will take us to the media timeout. This media timeout is sponsored by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee, craft beer, and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. You're listening to WBGU 8.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey.
This is a Falcon Media Sports Network studio update.
Nate Henners here in the WBGU 88.1 FM studio, and get an update on that BGSU volleyball matchup over at the Stroh Center. The Falcons have won in 4 sets, defeating the Ohio Bobcats. The Falcons now are back in action tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and you can catch that game over on Falcon Radio. BGSU women's volleyball now taking on, or women's basketball, now taking on UC Irvine over on Falcon Radio from Alaska. Taking a look at what's going on around the CCHA, Minnesota State is up on Michigan Tech in the second period. Lake Superior State up on Ferris State in the third. 2:42 left in that one. And Bemidji State is up on Northern Michigan 3-1 in the second. Let's look at what's going on around the CCHA. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM. Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
Welcome back to the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul, Minnesota. A penalty, an offensive zone penalty for Brody Waters, but you don't want to take the 4th penalty of the game for the Falcons after trying to kill off another penalty. Penalty for slashing, so Waters to the box for 2 minutes. St. Thomas, they tried a quick shot from the point that was easily taken care of by Steinman, and will allow the Falcons to quickly dump the puck all the way down, and they will go for a change. Again, we mentioned this in the previous penalty kills. Keeping fresh legs on the ice is critical to winning penalties. Or sorry, winning on the penalty kill. St. Thomas trying to set up a play, not able to do much with it, and eventually Jane Grant steals it. He's actually going to look for an opportunity to maybe set something up, but eventually they'll just dump it in and go for a change. Jaden Grant, though, went on the forecheck to allow his line mates extra time to complete the change. Now on the ice, we have Emerson, Niedermeyer, Norris, and Murnau. St. Thomas picks up a pass. Wallen at the point to Williams. Back to Wallen, still at the point. Down to the one face-off dot. Back to Williams at the point. To O'Neal. To Wallen, to Williams. Back to O'Neal. One-timer opportunity taken care of with the blocker of Jacob Steinman. Rossini trying to make a pass. A pass that was picked off by Norman O, dumped all the way down, and both teams will change their special teams units. 30 seconds remain on the penalty to Brody Waters. Some connection between Martin and one of the St. Thomas players behind their net, and they were looking for a call. Did not get it. BG dumps it all the way down again. Only 10 seconds remain to Waters' penalty. He stands up in the box. BG goes for one last line change on the penalty kill. St. Thomas trying to set something up now. And that'll do it, though, for the Brody Waters penalty. BG penalty kill remains perfect on the game. 4 for 4. Shot from the side was supposed to get taken care of by Steinman. Shots right now are 18-12 in favor of St. Thomas with 6:40 left. St. Thomas trying to work something out, but behind the net, eventually poked away by Steinman. Now working up is Brody Waters. Going up against 2 defensemen by himself. Dumps it in, able to work by one defender. But eventually St. Thomas finds the puck, piling over, making a pass, setting up a play. Down on the breakaway, big save by Steinman! Cage Sturzer, one-on-one with Steinman. Outweighted Steinman, but Steinman able to outstretch Sturzer and put his right pad on it. So Sturzer outweighted Steinman, but Steinman able to find a little bit extra patience. Makes another big save to add to the highlight reel of tonight. Ryman, pass over to McKinley in the offensive zone now for Falcons. McKinley, quick shot that was blocked, but McKinley gets the puck right back. No more now, working it down. Goes behind the goal line. Trying to wrap an opportunity that was saved by trying to rebound opportunity. Scored! Dominic Ryman! The reigning CCHA Rookie of the Week off the rebound gives BG a 1-0 lead in the second period. A wraparound opportunity for Noah Murnau that was saved by Trotter leads to a rebound that is put away by Dominic Ryman, number 77. And fun fact, the first player in BGSU hockey history to don the 77. Mentioned it, Ryman fresh off winning the CCHA Rookie of the Week award, making an early case in night 1 of this series that he might be able to repeat it or potentially go for the Forward of the Week award this week like his teammate and fellow freshman forward Noah Murnau did last week. That is Ryman's 10th point of the season, 4th goal. Potentially a challenge from St. Thomas as they are refusing to come to the center ice and waiting for an explanation from the referee. And we will have a challenge here. St. Thomas will challenge the play for offsides. The linesmen and the officials will gather to discuss the play. And now the linesmen will head into BG's penalty box to look at the screens from the CCHA and review this play. Just want to clarify to fans, though, that because the on-ice call is a good goal for the Falcons, not only will they need to find proof that this play was offside, they will also need to find definitive proof. Has to be 100% confirmed. If it's even a 98% chance of it being offside, they cannot take away the goal. They're not going to challenge for goaltender interference, which would probably be a common one, but they're showing replays of the final situation. Yeah, Murnau, wraparound opportunity, potentially trying to find a pass. Bounced around the skates of a couple of the St. Thomas defenders, and eventually Ryman shows up right in the slot to score the goal as it stands. Linesman still in the box. Coach Williams on the bench does not seem too impressed nor nervous. While we wait, a quick update about the stats so far. Mentioned it already, but the score potentially now 1-0. But if you go individual, Jacob Steinman so far made a total of 20 saves for Trotter. Keeping in mind, if this goal stands, he's made 13 saves and let up 1 goal for a .29 save percentage. Among skaters, if this goal stands, they would give Noah Morneau an assist and Ryman the goal. Those will be the only 2 contributors to this goal. So the lone assist will go to Morneau if it stands. Currently leading the team in shots on goal so far this game is Quinn Emerson. He has 3 shots on goal so far this game, with Crampton and Ryman right behind him with 2 apiece. Going to the face-off dot, currently Connor Levis actually leads the team with wins as he has 4. Everyone else all the other centers for this Falcon squad have only 3 wins, as well as Connor Levis is the only player so far who have a winning record in the face-off dot tonight, as he has won 4, only lost 2. All 3 of the other centers have won 3 and lost 5. For St. Thomas, they've had O'Neill and Pillig both get 4 shots on goal so far. All of them stopped so far by Stipend. Gaffney, Williams, and Shade all have 2. Linesmen and refs emerge from the review. And after reviewing the play was onside. Bowling Green takes a 1-0 lead with 5:36 remaining in the second period. Shots on goal are 20-15 in favor of St. Thomas. But it doesn't matter how many shots you get. It matters how many of those shots are able to be going into the net itself. Shots on goal does not impact the point standings. Goals do. But serious question you have to ask if you're BG right now is, does that review kill our momentum? And now we're seeing a mixed match line. Coach Williams checking out a new line here. Noah Morneau at center with Tyler Hodson and Brody Waters at the wings. Face-off was won by St. Thomas at the center ice dot after BG takes the 1-0 lead. Mentioned it, the goal will go to Ryman. The lone assist will go to Noah Morneau. Now Ryman in the zone. Brody Waters hits the brakes. Jumping all the way down was St. Thomas. Not go for an icing call as it was tipped off a player. Breck McGinley picks it up, drops it back. Dominic Ryman, the most recent goal scorer, makes the play over to Waters. And also, you got to mention, St. Thomas now has a penalty, I believe, due to the missed challenge. So, did not notice that until right now. That is my fault. But BG working with their first power play of the evening. Tyler Hodson trying a quick shot. Waters trying to work out the goal line. Cross ice pass. Duran looking for his first goal of the season. Didn't find the shot towards Trotter. McKinley keeps it at the blue line to Hodson. McKinley now circling around the point. Sorry, around the perimeter. Hodson, Ryman, one-time opportunity. Goes just wide. And it will work its way out of the zone where Hodson will pick it up in the defensive zone. 30 seconds remain to the penalty to St. Thomas, which went against Shane. He'll at least be the one serving it. Yeah, the penalty for delay a game against St. Thomas. So Shane is serving the penalty for St. Thomas. It will not go against his stats as a penalty for his record. Norris shot for the point. Scored! Tipped in by Quinn Emerson. Not sure in the broadcast booth if Quinn tipped that, but the players on the ice are sure. On the power play, Dalton Norris rips a wrist shot from the point, tipped in by Quinn Emerson, who was setting a screen on Aaron Trotter. I mentioned with a long delay after scoring the first goal, would that cause potentially a loss of momentum for the Falcons? Quinn Emerson and Dalton Norris quickly answer my question with a very strong no, as they now take a 2-0 lead. St. Thomas will not challenge this one. 3:50 remain here in the second frame with BG now up 2-0. But now a breaking opportunity for Shade. Push on the box. One-timer. So not one-timer. A slap shot opportunity saved by Steinman. One-on-one was Shade. Quick slap shot he took. Saved by Steinman. The goal will be credited to Emerson, his third of the season. Now another shot. I don't know if it was really a shot, more looking for a pass, but it's taken care of by Steinman. The zone. Niedermeyer goes down behind the net. He was looking for a call. Will not get one. At the point. Saved by Steinman again. Assists on the goal. Quinn Emerson's goal on the power play. Third of the season for him. Assists go to Dalton Norris and Braden Crampton. Currently, the puck is being pinned in the defensive zone for the Falcons. They'll eventually dump it down, where Pullman will have the puck for St. Thomas in his own zone. BG tried to find the puck at the neutral zone. Zucca will wear a check by Sturzer. Crampton tried to make a pass, eventually picked off by St. Thomas with Luke Leyland, the senior. Sturzer trying to get the puck. Williams, shot from the point, will go wide. Luke Leyland on the forecheck. Joining him is his younger brother, Casey Leyland. And Sturzer stumbling to the bench, seems to have broken his skate blade. Trotter was looking for an icing call against the Falcons. It will not come to him, though. Now BG on the forecheck. Pilling, though, takes it away for St. Thomas. He'll dump it into the zone. Steinman goes behind his net to play the puck, makes a pass. Then eventually finds Crampton's stick, but he gets it to Murnau. Murnau, cross-ice pass through the neutral zone. Miss Zucca, allowing for St. Thomas to once again pick it up in their defensive zone. St. Thomas trying to get into the offensive zone. Bowling Green taking the puck. BG now has the puck. Ryman, such a fast player, able to poke check it into the zone, but Cheslock has the puck for the Tommies. And now an icy call goes against St. Thomas. Only a minute 15, a buck 15, if you will, remains in the second frame of regulation. I apologize to the audience if I sound stuffed up. I am dealing with allergies here. But they have gotten better throughout the week, so hopefully tomorrow I have no sound issues at all. Face-off will be to the left side of Trotter. What a momentum swing here to end the second half of the second period for the Falcons. Went from not getting a shot on goal in the first... Went from not being able to get a shot on goal in the first 8 minutes of the period to scoring back-to-back goals. And now an opportunity to extend it as Chase Cheslock will skate to the bench. Or sorry, not the bench. Chase Cheslock will skate to the penalty box for an interference call. Chase Cheslock arguing the call the whole way to the box with the official. But BG, fresh off scoring a power play goal, will have another opportunity as they go back at the power play. Face-off, though, originally won by St. Thomas. They wrap it around the boards. Norris was there to try and pick it off, but it bounced off his stick into neutral ice where he'll have to take it. Crampton gets it now in the defensive zone. Norris gets it now. Drop pass back to Midville. Midville to Durant. Durant to Crampton. Crampton to Norris. To Crampton. Back to Norris, but it took a weird bounce. It's back to neutral ice where BG can regroup in their defensive zone. Not the best passing right now from the Falcons. It seems to be sloppy and not quite crisp enough to really set up a play. As they're now trying to set. Now they turn the puck over the defensive zone. Almost led to a dangerous opportunity, but able to take care of it. BG trying to work it up. Jeremy Midville through center ice. Trying to pass over to Waters, was just off, and then Waters blows a tire. Still trying to work the puck, though. Oh, actually, he gets to McKinley. McKinley trying to pass to Ryman that took a weird bounce. Eventually finds a different BG player stick. And then that will do it for the second period. The penalty will carry over, so BG will start this third period of regulation with not only a 2-goal lead, but also have, I believe, about 30 seconds left, 48 seconds to be exact, of power play time. Hopefully they're able to execute it better than they did in this period, because they were not very crisp and it did not lead to a lot of strong opportunities. I felt like they kept setting up good opportunities just to have it not quite work out. From the brand new Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul, Minnesota, you are listening to BGSU Hockey versus St. Thomas. The score is currently 2-0 in favor of the Falcons. The shots on goal are currently 22-16 in favor of the Tommies. Coming up, we're going to send it back to Nate and Dan back at the Cooley Center in Bowling Green, Ohio, so they can take you through the Marta Crow second intermission report. And then stay tuned, because after the second intermission report, I'll be right back here in St. Paul, Minnesota for the third period of regulation. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM, your home of Falcon hockey.
And welcome into the Marta Crow second intermission halftime report here on WBGU 88.1 FM, brought to you by the late Marta Crow, or in memory of her, as she was a fan of Falcon hockey and a listener of WBGU 88.1 FM. Welcome back to the Clean Center WBGU studios. I am Nate Hinders, joined once again in studio by Dan Ridenauer. And a much more active second period. Falcons up 2-0 over the St. Thomas Tommies. And Dan, what happened in that second period?
Well, I think we need to address the elephant in the room first off. Quinn Emerson and Dominic Ryman both to get goals in that one, and then Braden Crampton, Dalton Norris, and Noah Morneau, as well as Brett Foe, going to be the ones that assisted those goals so far. Kind of mix and match between the two of them. But yes, a huge lead for Bowling Green. And on top of that, they will start the period, as Nate mentioned, on the power play, which is huge in terms of momentum. And I mean, looking at the shots on goal as well so far from that period, Bowling Green only got 6, 2 of those to connect. So when I see something like that, Nate, what I'm really looking at is Trotter had more of a rough period. I mean, an .875 save percentage so far today, and that's just really something that you want to take advantage of. And I mean, goaltending's a core thing that you need to focus on, especially in the game of hockey when there's a lead like this, and Bowling Green, though, able to capitalize it. And another thing they're capitalizing on right now is the power plays. They're going 1 for 2 right now, able to get a power play goal, which is something they had a strength against Ferris State. And they're having the same thing tonight. So overall, that's something that I look at if I'm the Falcons and I want to consider onward. The only downside right now I see for BG is the face-off. Still need to improve on that regard. 114 in that period. And then penalty minutes as well. I mean, but you know that's kind of the style of hockey Coach Willie wants to play, is a more physical style. And if you're going to get a penalty, you just got to be able to kill it, which is why our penalty kill is so good for the most part that I see this season. But yes, definitely a huge credit to Quinn Emerson, Dominic Ryman able to get the goals for BG and makes it a 2-0 game so far as we head into the third period.
Yeah, all right. Coming up, we will talk more about what we can expect in the third period. Again, the Falcons up 2-0 on the St. Thomas Tommies. We'll also take a look at what's going on around the CCHA, plus get you an update on the BGSU women's basketball game that tipped off about 25 minutes ago up in Alaska. You're listening to the Second Intermission Report, brought to you in memory of Marta Crow, Falcon hockey fanatic and avid Falcon hockey fan on WBGU 88.1 FM. Keep it here. You're listening to 88.1. Welcome back to the Marta Crow Second Intermission Report here on WBGU 88.1 FM. The Falcons up 2-0 over the St. Thomas Tommies in hockey up in St. Paul, Minnesota. So, Dan, what are you looking for heading into the third period? Again, the Falcons up 2-0. So Falcons was 0-0 at the end of the first period. Now Falcons have scored 2 in that second period. How are you looking with the teams going into the third?
I'm looking for a situation right now, Nate, where you just keep the momentum. You keep the lead going. Both those goals were huge. I mean, the broadcast that Nathan had on it was huge as well. But you need to get your 5th win of the season, and what a better time to do it. And this is going to dictate also how tomorrow goes. And in terms of, looking at how everything's been going in this regard, and you kind of have the chip on your shoulder from last year, and then St. Thomas going and changing conferences to the NCHC next season is going to kind of limit that almost. The games are kind of limited between these two teams, and overall, what I would say is Bowling Green right now, they have the lead, they have the momentum currently. It's just about capitalizing, and it's just about finishing through. So you can't really take any situations for granted. You can't really play the more aggressive style that you would when it's late in the third period and you're losing. You need to play a more conservative style. And what that means, Nate, is being smart with the rushes. You're not going to take every rush up the middle. You're not going to take one every and out. You're going to have to be smart on the breakout. You're going to have to know who to pass to and when. You're going to have to know how to get the play to develop, and also try to force it more where St. Thomas has their opportunity for them to make the mistake and kind of dictate it and let the play come to you. That's a big thing that I've kind of harped on this year, is just Bowling Green building the play and letting St. Thomas bring it to them, if that makes sense. As St. Thomas is going to have to get the play going and going to have to let it go towards the Falcons, but so far the defense tonight without Gustav Sternberg has stood strong, and while he's a big cornerstone of that defense, they have been doing well so far tonight without him, and I'm wondering if he's kind of influencing the team behind the scenes. But overall, what they're going to need is they're going to need to keep playing the defense and capitalizing on the mistakes that St. Thomas has been making.
Yeah, all right, thanks. All right, taking a look at what's going on around the CCHA. That Lake Superior State and Ferris State game has gone final, and Lake Superior has defeated Ferris State, they defeated Ferris State 2-1. Still in action right now. They're in about the same time we are. Michigan Tech currently losing to Minnesota State 2-0. Again, Minnesota State ahead going into the third period. And Bemidji State up on Northern Michigan 5-2, once again heading into the third. Again, BGSU women's volleyball has won at the MAC tournament over at the Stroh Center this evening. They won in 4 sets against Ohio. Now BGSU volleyball tomorrow, they'll be taking on Western Michigan. That game going on at 7 o'clock tomorrow, again over at the Stroh Center. So if some BGSU volleyball fans want to see the volleyball team in the postseason, it will be over at the Stroh tomorrow. I don't know what the ticket situation is, but it is over at the Stroh tomorrow. You can also check that game out on Falcon Radio tomorrow, again coming up at 7 o'clock for that game. By the way, that will be one of 2 games. There will be a game before that coming up at 4, but the MAC tournament going on all weekend long over at the Stroh Center. One more Falcon Athletic game in action now. UC Irvine Anteaters. I like that name for maybe my second favorite behind the Ragin' Cajuns for the teams the women's basketball team has played this season. But the UC Irvine Anteaters are up on the Bowling Green Falcons 24-15. 5:11 left in the second quarter for that. And that game's going up in Anchorage, Alaska. So Lucas Kleinmeyer is up there now. And you can check that game out over on Falcon Radio too. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. By the way, depending how the game goes tonight, the Falcons will either play at 9:15 tomorrow on Falcon Radio, 11:30 p.m. on WBGU 88.1. So it could be a late night for some Falcon basketball fans. All right, let's take one more short break right now, and we'll send things on out to Nathan in Minnesota. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM. Wrapping things up here on the Martyr Crow second intermission report on WBGU 88.1 FM. Again, the Falcons 2-0 over the St. Thomas Tommies heading into the third period. Me and Dan will be with you guys following this third period for our Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show. Right now, let's hand things on back out to Nathan Burkett up in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota. You had quite the trip up there, but let's hand things on out to him. How's it going heading into the third?
really good. You know, Falcons have a 2-goal lead, which coaches will say is the most dangerous lead in hockey. I disagree. It's a 1-goal lead, the most dangerous lead in hockey. It's just the 2-goal lead leads to cockiness, which leads to mistakes, which leads to giving up a 2-goal lead. But you're absolutely right, Nate. A rough day of traveling for me. My day started at 6 a.m. when I woke up, and I'm still awake, and I'm very tired. But you know what? At least I'm staying awake watching a great hockey game between here in the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena between the St. Thomas Tommies and the visiting BGSU Falcons. Score so far, 2-0. Keeping in mind that on top of carrying a 2-goal lead into this period, the Falcons will also have 48 seconds of power play time as Chase Cheslock right now is actually skating to the penalty box to finish off his time. BG scored their second goal of the game thanks to Quinn Emerson off a power play strike. So they will see if they can execute quickly this period to give themselves not only a 3-0 lead, but also give themselves another power play tally. That was the Horde. Players skate to center ice. Wallen versus Duran in the face-off dot to kick off the third period of regulation. And it will be won eventually by the Falcons. But very quickly after the puck was Miller of St. Thomas, who will dump it into the zone. Dalton Norris, the captain for the Falcons, will skate it up through neutral ice, over to center ice logo. Light pass over to Quinn Emerson, who will take a check from Miller. Dalton Norris able to keep it at the blue paint. BG trying to get something set up quickly, but not able to find the puck right now. Eventually, Jeremy Midville, pass up to the points, to Crampton, to Norris, on the point. Norris holds on to it, eventually drops it down for Duran. Duran circles back. Time running out on this power play opportunity. Norris back to Duran. Duran tried a shot from a tough angle and fanned on it. BG still has possession. Shot from the point, saved by Trotter. BG still has possession, even though their power play is now gone as St. Thomas kills off the power play. And now an opportunity. Van Fleet working it in. Quick shot saved by Steinman. A breakaway opportunity after stealing a pass by Van Vliet. Stonewalled by Jacob Steinman. That's the second time this game Van Vliet's had a one-on-one opportunity. The first time led to McKinley skating back and taking a penalty while shutting him down. This time it leads to, he got the shot off at least this time, but Steinman holds on, makes his 24th save of the game. Shot for the point, saved by once again Steinman. 25 saves on the game now. Another shot for the point, Cheslock. I believe that actually was blocked by Korodiak. Cheslock out of the play box, back at the point, takes another shot. This was blocked by McKinley at the point. Puck still at the slot. Eventually knocked to neutral ice by the Falcons. Jaden Grant, the alternate captain for BG, trying to work the puck into the offensive zone. Zlunka was waiting all alone in the slot for a one-timer, but never received the pass as Hodson couldn't quite win a puck battle. Now, offside call will go against St. Thomas. Faceoff will be in the neutral zone. Jacob Steinman up to 26 saves now on the evening. His opponent, but fellow goaltender, Aaron Trotter, has made 15 and currently posts a .882 save percentage. Face-off won by BG, back to Crampton, who tried to pass. Wasn't received, but it was tipped into the zone, so no icy call against BG, as they now are able to get possession in the offensive zone. Murnau behind Trotter, behind the net. Up to the point was Crampton. He tried to pass over to Norris, which was a little bit off the money, and take it over by Shane. Shane made a pass over to Brancini. St. Thomas in their own zone, trying to work a puck up to neutral ice. BG working the puck well. Dumps it into the zone. Connor Levis lines up a hit, and he will execute said hit on Pullman. Brancini for St. Thomas sneaking through the neutral zone. Tried to pass to Gaffney. That was eventually picked off. Dumped all the way down by the Falcons, but it was tipped in, so no icing call as they will go for change. Now a big hit. Brett Foe lays on Lucas Wallen, the captain of the St. Thomas Tommies, making Wallen lose his stick in the process. Shot by Gaffney, down the zone. Saved by Steinman once again. BG able to dump it into their zone, where now Wallen making moves to O'Neal, trying to crash the net. Shot from a tough angle, once again easily taken care of by Steinman. Puck is in BG's offensive zone, where Durant currently has it pinned along the boards, as he's getting pinned himself by a St. Thomas defender, by Bauer Berry. Greg McKinley touched it for a second, trying to dump it in. BG trying to get a forecheck. Brody Waters will be the first one there. But St. Thomas gets possession. Picked off, though, by, I believe that's Ryman. Neither team able to fully hold on to possession right now. Jay Grant eventually does get a shot that will go wide. All the way down and into BG's zone, except Brandon Crampton will be the first one there, so he will have possession for the Falcons. Pass up to Wynot. Wynot banks a pass off the boards to Zlunka. St. Thomas holding onto the puck in their own zone. Zlunka finally steals the puck away, trying to find a pass or a play or a shot. Eventually gets the puck to Hodson. Hodson working the puck along the boards. Eventually will have it taken from it, but there's a pin up for it along the boards. The near side boards closest to me here in the broadcast booth in the offensive zone for the Falcons. Semenovic eventually trying to keep it in. Casey Leyland had a chance to maybe have a one-on-one, but Breck McKinley outraced him to the puck. Right now, neither team fully able to take advantage of any possession they're getting. Miller for St. Thomas will dump it in. Steinman trying to make a pass behind his net, being a little risky, but eventually works out as Niedermeyer making moves, making plays, finds a pass up to Murnau. Murnau takes a shot that will go wide. St. Thomas trying to work a play. Eventually Murnau, though, able to steal away the puck. Dominic Ryman now trying to dump it into the zone, but St. Thomas takes it right back. But Ryman with a motor able to win it back, but eventually it finds Niedermeyer in neutral ice as BG, with Crampton just holding on to it, will be able to go get a change. New skaters out here for the Falcons as Crampton will lay a hit. And now Braden Crampton lays 2 hits on Piling and Shane back to back. Lined them up, knock them down. Braden Crampton back to back, big hits. Eventually, though, St. Thomas 2-on-2 opportunity. Hit the brakes, wait for reinforcements with Shane. Sorry, that is Lippi along the far board. Eventually, BG able to steal away possession. Dumping it all the way down. Minville tried to outrace the puck, but icing call goes against BG. Couple of big hits, though, for Braden Crampton. Jeremy Minville also made contact in that play. Face off in BG zone end after that icing call. Unable to make a change on the Falcons. Now potentially a review. Timeout, I believe. Timeout, BG. So BG will take their timeout. They can't change players after the icing call, but they can take a timeout to let them get some fresh legs. Steinman, we've already mentioned, has made 28 saves so far tonight. Had a very good night so far. Mentioned he's a freshman goaltender from the QMJHL. Spent last season playing for the Halifax Mooseheads as well as the Moncton Wildcats in the QMJHL. He was considered one of the best goaltenders of the QMJHL. Also, fun fact, he's an aviation major and is and he finds time to fly planes between practice and classes. So, to Bowling Green students who may be listening, when you look up in the sky near our campus and watch the planes fly by, one of our starting goaltenders, we have 3 who have all received time, might be flying them with Steinman. Steinman, though, we mentioned 28 saves so far this game. His career high for saves in the game was on October 25th of this season against Lake Superior. He made 31 saves. 13:56 remained here in the third period. Very likely that we could see Steinman set a new career high for saves in a game. Unfortunately, BG gets the faceoff. They win the faceoff after taking a timeout to help their players get some fresh legs. Not exactly get fresh legs, but fresher legs. After an icing call, they immediately win the faceoff and ice it again. So, BG once again facing a faceoff in their own zone after a icing call. St. Thomas with the 5 possession with Gaffney. We mentioned how dangerous Gaffney is. Quick slap shot from the point from Cheslock goes wide. Ryman has the puck, trying to get it out of their zone so they can go get a change. St. Thomas working to get a quick shot. Saved by Steinman again. Up and out of play. This will allow BG to get a change, go to the box, or not go to the box, go to the bench, change up lines, get some new, actually fresh legs on the ice. BG will still have a face-off in their own zone. But now with fresh players, Ben Duran will take the face-off for the Falcons. Won by St. Thomas, though. They're working it in. Tried a shot that was blocked by, I believe, Ben Duran. There was like 3 Falcons in vicinity of that block shot. Making a wall. If you watch soccer, how they block penalty kicks with a wall, similar tactic, it looked like. Norris turns the puck over to Brasini, but he immediately takes out Brasini with a smart check. Knocks him off his skates. Nothing too violent, but smart. St. Thomas loses possession. Miller working it down. Tight shot. That will go wide. Turnaround chance by Shane. Not sure if that actually went on net. Either way, though, taken care of by Steinman. Pullman at the point for St. Thomas, holding on to it. Trying to make a pass. St. Thomas now holding on to possession, but not truly holding on to it, if that makes sense. Feels like even though they're technically collecting possession time, feel like they're fighting for it every second they have it. And now a pass that was intended for Pullman at the point will go by him and all the way down to St. Thomas's end where Pullman will pick it up. Pullman dekes by 1, reaches center ice and dumps it into the zone. Brandon Crampton will be one of the first people there. Eventually, it's going to be knocked out of the zone. Adams Zuka gets there, working it in. Quick shot will go wide. Ryman able to dump it into the zone once again, keeping it in the zone, I should say. Now, St. Thomas, though, working it back. Pilot shot goes wide, off the glass. Zuka gets to the puck once again first, trying to get the puck up to Hodson. Hodson gets to the puck, dumps it in, allows his line to go get a change. Jaden Gray up that line, stays on the ice, on the forecheck, make sure his guys get a full change. Puck deflected off a player and into the St. Thomas bench, so a stoppage of play. Face-off will be in the St. Thomas zone, so BG gets an offensive zone face-off now. On the ice right now for the Falcons are Connor Levis at center, Maxwell Martin and Brett Foe at the wings, Ivan Korodiak, and I believe that is the captain, Dalton Norris at the points. Connor Levis faces, lines up at the face-off circle, will lose the face-off, but we'll see how they can do on the forecheck. We're gonna step back really quickly for an ID break.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Welcome back to the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul. BG, neither team right at the moment able to hold on to possession for like a true long period, similar to what we've seen for the first 2 periods, actually. Both these teams very competitive, very close. Opportunity now, 2-1 opportunity. Emerson working again, quick shot, saved by Trotter. Niedermeyer gets the puck in center ice. Neither team, again, I keep saying it, able to hold on to possession right now. Eventually, St. Thomas has the puck in their own zone. Up to the point. Barry finds a pass, back to Barry. Bauer Barry to Hundley. Takes a shot. Saved by Steinman. He's up to 30 saves. We mentioned his career high is 31. He's only 1 away from tying it. Another shot by Hundley goes wide. Gaffney working the puck behind the net. Gave it to O'Neal. Eventually, BG able to steal it, dumps it all the way down. But this shot, not shot, but this clearing attempt will be on goal. So no icing call against the Falcons, as they will go and get new lines, and immediately stepping out onto the ice was Crampton, who laid a big hit on O'Neal. And then a puck that was meant to be cleared out by Jeremy Minville goes over the glass and into the crowd. No crowd member was hit by the puck. Faceoff will be in BG's own end. If this was the NHL, there would have been a penalty for it going off. Now a review, I believe. No, correction. We have reached the media timeout of this period. Score is currently 2-0 in favor of your BGSU Falcons. Shots on goal race is currently being run by St. Thomas, 30-17. 9:46 remains here in the final period of regulation. You're listening to WBGU 80.1 FM, your home of Falcon hockey.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
Welcome back to the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here at the Slater Family Ice Arena. We're returning from the media timeout. That media timeout was sponsored by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. Face-off will be to the left side of Jacob Steinman in BG's defensive zone. BG is currently up 2-0 here in St. Paul, although I'm sure Coach Ruley would like even more out of his team in this third period, as they're currently losing the shots on goal battle 30-17. Jacob Steinman has stood tall. Aaron Trotter has also made quite a few good saves, but Jacob Steinman, as well as making multiple saves, including at the moment 30.
You are tuned into live BG.
One away from tying his career high for saves. Quick opportunity for Waters was broken up by Cheslock. But one away from tying his career high for saves in a single game. He's also made multiple highlight tape-worthy saves. Quick shot from the point was Korodic, was blocked by Brasini. BG has the puck, or was trying to get the puck in their offensive zone. Eventually Cheslock able to make a play. Lippi laid a check on a Falcon. Now Korodic dumping it into the zone. Goes behind Trotter. Pass all the way from the defensive zone was intended for Quinton Pepper, who is playing in his 105th career college game. St. Thomas now trying to work the puck back up. Dalton Norris slapped the puck back towards their offensive zone as starting to become a little bit more dire if you're a St. Thomas player. 8:30 remains. BG dumps it into the zone, goes for a change. St. Thomas gets the puck in their own zone. Has their top line out there right now. O'Neal dumps it in. Taken care of by Niedermeyer. Son of 4-time Stanley Cup champion, Hockey Hall of Fame inductee, and member of one of the NHL's 100 best players back in 2017, Scott Niedermeyer. Gaffney working it in. Wallen will take a shot. That was saved by Steinman. He is now up to 31 saves, tying his career high, and he makes another one to set a new career high for Jacob Steinman for saves in a single game with 32 for the freshman, I'll say it, phenom. Face-off will be to the right side of him after he throws the puck. We will see, I believe, Luke Leyland, the senior Leyland, to be confused with his younger brother Casey Leyland, who's on the same line. They also wear, Luke wears 19, Casey wears 9, so can be a little bit of a nightmare sometimes for broadcasters, but not nearly as bad as back in the day where Michigan Tech had, I believe, more than 4 Pietolas. Neither team has possession at the moment. Eventually BG able to control it as they are in a situation where Coach Willie mentioned in the press conference, you're playing almost a boring brand of hockey. So entertaining to watch from a hockey fan standpoint, especially a Falcon hockey fan, but they're not trying to be overly aggressive. They're not trying to stretch the ice. They're trying to play smart, play defensive hockey, and kill St. Thomas's momentum as much as they can with only a little under 7 minutes left in this game, separating them from 3 points towards the CCHA standings. Going into this game, they were tied with Bemidji for the lead of the CCHA. St. Thomas, last time I saw, was defeating Northern Michigan, so if they want to remain tied, they're going to have to win this game in regulation. St. Thomas trying to stop that as they try to work it in, but eventually Niedermeyer will bump a player off the puck, and Why Not will take it, then eventually skate it around, kill some time, and then dump it into the zone, killing him more time, allowing BG to get a change. O'Neal working it in, takes a quick shot, saved by Steinman. He'll grab the rebound before anything can come of it. A nifty move by O'Neal with a toe drag around the defender. Once again handled by Steinman. He's up to 33 saves. Keep mentioning it, career high now for him. We're saves in a single game. Shots for the Falcons are 17. 6:08 remains here in the third period. Face-off will be redone. And it'll be a new Falcon, I believe. We'll go. Nope, never mind. Still going to remain. Brasini versus Jaden Grant. Never mind. I was right. Jaden Grant has to vacate the face-off dot. Jerry Midville, a freshman who played in the Cube JHL last year as well. The only player on this Falcon hockey team this season who actually come from Quebec. We had 2 other players on this team. I mentioned Steinman as well as Ty Higgins, who's yet to play a game this year, come from the QMJHL, which is the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League. But Midville is the only player who played in that league and was actually born and raised in Quebec. Shot from Cheslak, saved by Steinman. He's up to 34. Cheslak holds up the possession, though. BG able to poke the puck out of They're zoned into neutral ice where St. Thomas will take it right back, working it in. The purple and gray shot by Shane, blocked by, I believe, Korodiak, who leads the Falcons in blocked shots on the year. BG doing a good job of just messing with St. Thomas's rhythm, not letting them get into rhythm, not letting them get chances. Coaches say the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey because it allows you to become cocky almost, which then leads to you being overly confident and making mistakes. BG right now playing sound defense with the 2-goal lead. I'm not sure how confident they are on their bench, but they are playing with confidence right now, but not playing overly confident. As puck once again goes to neutral ice. Every time St. Thomas dumps the puck into the zone, BG is able to quickly mess with their play enough to at least hopefully get it to neutral ice, and then once again dump it in and go for a change. Out there right now for the Falcons. I take that back. They're going for another line change right now, keeping their legs young. Noberno trying to get the puck. Can't quite. Over to O'Neill for St. Thomas. Tried to find a guy. Gaffney. Rebound scored. Wallen will make the game a 1-goal game for St. Thomas. It was Ryan O'Neill, the senior forward for St. Thomas, made a cross-ice pass to Alex Gaffney. We talked about him a lot in the pregame show, as he will now continue his lead of the points. Gaffney took a shot, saved by Steinman, but fortunately went right off the pad directly to the tape of Wallen, who had a gaping cage to tap the puck into. And it is now a 1-goal game. I was trying not to mention it. You noticed up to this point I did not say Gusev Stribberg. He's not a goalie and he's not playing either. I was not saying Steinman's save percentage because I can say it now. He had a shutout running, but anyone who played hockey, watches hockey, and follows hockey in any way knows you never say those words until the game is over or until it's broken. It is now broken. So I can't say. He has still made 35 saves on the game so far and has a .972 save percentage. Nothing to hang your head about. BG, still with what I consider truly the most dangerous lead in hockey. They are still doing a good job right now of holding off St. Thomas, trying not to get possession in their own zone. 3 minutes remain between a third straight regulation victory for the Falcons. St. Thomas probably working with some momentum and some confidence at the moment, trying to set up a play. BG starting to look a little bit tired. It has been a while since they've gotten offensive opportunities this period, but a lot of just playing sound defensive hockey. Now opportunity for BG. 2-on-1 opportunity. Durant and Waters. Durant trying to pass over to Waters, was blocked by a late out. St. Thomas defenseman. They'll dump it into the zone and look for a change. BG has the puck in their own zone, trying to kill some time, it looks like. Eventually they'll try and find Emerson in the neutral zone. Dumping it into the offensive zone is the Falcons. St. Thomas working it up right over their center ice logo. O'Neill looking for another assist, trying to find Wallen again, but broken up by BG, dumped all the way down to the defensive zone. No icing, so did not go all the way down the ice. They went for a change. Dominic Ryman on the forecheck, trying to find it. Ryman's been a magician, if you will. A pickpocket. Lots of times he'll line up a hit, and instead of laying contact, he'll just steal the puck right from underneath the St. Thomas player's nose. St. Thomas looking into the zone. Quick shot from the point, goes wide. O'Neill trying to pass, but unfortunately Wallen, who was his target, was not on his feet. It was still getting up after receiving a check. Empty cage now for St. Thomas. And Foe able to, BG dumped it all the way down the ice looking for the empty cage. Missed, but Foe able to beat out the icing call as St. Thomas back in the zone. Big save by Steinman, keeping it a 1-goal game. The fans here wanted a call for that icing, but Foe, good job. Keep the play alive. Puck goes up into the netting. A lot of big efforts here for the Falcons with only 48 seconds remaining in this game. Foe skating all the way down ice, tying up the play to force St. Thomas to keep the play alive instead of an icing call, and then back the other way on a wraparound opportunity. Jacob Steinman slams the door shut on Lippi, who was looking to tie this game. 48 seconds remain. Face off wide by the Falcons. Empty cage on 6-on-5 in favor of attackers, in favor of St. Thomas, who has 6. Quinn Emerson trying to get the puck in the offensive zone. Take it to the wall by Vliet. St. Thomas working it up. Only 30 seconds remain here. Gaffney not able to hold on to possession. Takes a check by Grant. Only 18 seconds remain. St. Thomas starting to look a little tired. They've had the same group of guys out there for a while. Their best players, leaving all they have out there. Cheslak looking for a pass. Fleet shot, saved by Steinman. The rebound comes out, and I believe it's Gaffney scores with just 6 seconds remaining on the clock. Cheslak made a pass down to Vliet, who was about near the goal line. One-time opportunity was saved by Steinman, but similar to the last goal, rebound scored. This time by Alex Gaffney, his second point of the game, first goal. I do not know about the other scorers currently in the CCHA. I've not checked, but if he was tied with 7 goals for the lead, so that will potentially give him the CCHA lead it will give him the lead for goals scored in the CCHA, as we are now going to a overtime. We have a 2-minute break. To clarify, we're not going on a break, but there'll be a 2-minute break of action, followed by the overtime. A heartbreaker for the Falcons. 6.2 seconds away from securing 3 points towards the CCHA standings. As I pull up the CCHA scores to see if BG, which is the team that BG currently is or at least going into this game, was tied with for the lead of the CCHA. Depending on what they did in their game, as I pull it up, or should we refresh the page, refresh the score? Their game, Bemidji's game with Northern Michigan is not over technically, but it's over from a score standpoint. Bemidji leads 7-3 over the Wildcats. So, barring a miracle from in Bemidji for the Marquette natives of Northern Michigan, it looks like BG will unfortunately no longer be tied for the lead of the CCHA standings. Just as a reminder, a reminder of how the CCHA standings work. Unlike last year, since every team is playing the equal amount of conference games, it's no longer based on points percentage. So, it's like every other conference, so it's based on points. How the points work for the CCHA and among most college hockey conferences is a win in regulation gets you 3 points, a win in the overtime / shootout gets you 2 points, and a loss in overtime or shootout counts as 1. Also, a a shootout win or loss is technically marked down on the schedule as a draw. That is that you just get extra point. So the max points BG can get here is 2. And considering BG currently holds a 4-goal lead over the Wildcats, they will, after this game, at the very best for the Falcons, be second place at the CCHA behind BG by 1 point. Face off, won by Bordeaux, but quickly taken by Cheslock. Still on, he drops it for Pilon. Bordeaux trying to poke it off his stick. They regroup. St. Thomas does in the neutral zone as Piling hops off for Wallen, who scored the first goal of the game for St. Thomas. Now BG trying to go for a line change. Bad time for one. Wallen gets out of 2. He wasn't able to corral it. Lucky break for the Falcons. Bad time for a line change. Now 2-on-2 opportunity for BG. Hodson and Niedermeyer. Hodson works in. Everson also on the ice for BG. Niedermeyer on the ice. Has scored an overtime winner before last year against against Northern Michigan in Marquette. Saved by Hodson was saved. Emerson trying to work it in. Still has possession. Niedermeyer goes for a change. Quick shot saved by Trotter with the stick. Now on the ice for BG in overtime. We have Crampton, and they go for a change. And Duran. Bit of a slow change. I believe that's also. And BG 6-a scored. They have! BG scores! I believe it was Tyler Hodson. I was looking at the line change, and Tyler Hodson scores the overtime winner for the Falcons. The arena goes silent. In their first game after losing to the St. Thomas Tommies 3-2 last year, 3-1 last year in the CCHA Mason Cup Conference semifinals. Bowling Green in their first game back playing St. Thomas. Their first game ever played in the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul. Bowling Green claims the victory. And scoring clarification, the goal, as it's being announced in the arena, goes to Ben Duran, his first goal of the season, and it's an overtime winner. As the handshake line commences, BG will claim 2 points. They claim the 3-2 overtime winner here at St. Paul, Minnesota. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back here at St. Paul, Minnesota, I will give you the 3 stars of the game from Falcon Media Sports Network. The Bill and Karen Hofford 3 stars of the game. We will give a quick update on the pick a stick. I don't even know if we even announced who our picks were, but we will give you the winner of tonight's pick a stick, as well as, and I will give my final send off from St. Paul, Minnesota, and we will send it back to Nate and Dan in the Cooleen Center, who will give you the full post-game report. You're listening to WBGU 80.1 FM, your home of Falcon hockey.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm Nathan Burkett. I've been your voice of Falcon hockey tonight as BG claims a 3-2 overtime victory over the St. Thomas Tommies in their own arena in the brand new Lee and Penny Anderson Arena. Going back to recap that Ben Duran overtime goal. Ben Duran lipped a shot from the face-off dot that beat Trotter, and just for extra measure, because the puck, after going through the net, came right back to his stick, he threw in a rebound opportunity just to confirm it. So, that actually leads us into tonight's Bill and Karen Hoffert stars of the game. Tonight's 3 stars of the game are presented by Bill and Karen Hoffert, longtime BGSU hockey fans and Falcon Club members. Third star of the game is Ben Duran, scores the overtime winner as well as scoring his first goal of the season. Second star of the game goes to Jacob Steinman for Bowling Green. Finished the night with a career high 36 saves tonight, only let up 2 goals, and finished the night with a .947 save percentage. And the first star of the game goes to Alex Gaffney of St. Thomas. Finished the game with a goal and an assist, as well as scoring the tying goal to get St. Thomas a point towards the CCHA standings, also stealing away BG's chance of remaining tied with Bemidji in the CCHA standings. Quickly going to go over tonight's pick-a-stick. I don't even know if we actually mentioned our picks. Lucas Kleinmeyer picked Noah Morneau. Noah Morneau finished the night with, quickly checking, a goal, so he will have 1 point towards pick-a-stick. Ben Korak went with Dominic Raimon. Dominic Raimon got a goal, so he gets 2 points towards pick-a-stick points. Tyler Kavlitz, one of our production directors, went with Tyler Hodson. Hodson finished the night, unfortunately, with 0 points, 0 assists, so no points towards Tyler's overall tally. And then the FMSN representative, or Falcon Media Sports Network representative for tonight was, in fact, myself, and I went with Ben Duran because I thought he was due, and I was right. So Ben Duran scores a goal to give the Falcons the overtime victory, as well as to give myself 2 points towards the pick-a-stick points. So the wrap-up for tonight's award, it's a tie between me and Ben Korak, as our picks of Duran and Ryman both scored goals. Third place goes to Lucas Kleinmeyer, who got 1 point thanks to a assist from Noah Morneau. And in dead last is Tyler Kavlitz, who Tyler Hudson pick did not produce any points. So, to recap, BG claims 2 points towards the CCHA standings in a 3-2 victory over the St. Thomas Tommies. I have been Nathan Burkett, live from the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to Nate and Dan in the studio. You are listening to WBGU 80.1 FM, your home of Falcon hockey.
Welcome to the Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show. Nate Henners and Dan Ridenauer here with you guys once again from the WBGU 88.1 FM studio at the Killeen Center here on the campus of Bowling Green State University. And Dan, another win for the Falcons tonight, a 3-2 win in overtime. So started off a little bit quiet, but quite a game tonight, especially getting into that second and third period.
Absolutely. You know, Bowling Green and overtime just going together like peanut butter and jelly so far this year, but great job for the Falcons to be able to just turn things around and not really stay in there that long. Ben Duran getting the overtime winner for the 3-2 victory for Bowling Green, as two were scored unanswered by St. Thomas to force overtime. One of those being 6 seconds left, but Alex Gaffney and Lucas Wallen being the two scoring for St. Thomas tonight. But quite a game for the Falcons, I would say. Not a game that really, on paper, they shouldn't have won. I mean, you look at the face-offs. They lost in that regard. They had less shots on goal. You know, they had more penalties, but Bowling Green's still able to get the victory tonight. And if you're going to ignore what the stat sheet says, it's still going to be a big regard for the Falcons, as they'll be able to pick up a couple points and then hopefully get the momentum boost as they head to Saturday's game tomorrow.
Yeah, of course, and coming up, we'll talk more about tomorrow's game. Plus, we'll see what else is going on in the CCHA and Falcon Athletics. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM. Welcome back to the Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show. Once again, the Falcons winning over the St. Thomas Tommies 3-2 in overtime with a post-game win. So, an overtime win. All right, so anyways, Dan, getting into your Falcon Media Sports Network player of the game.
Well, let's take it right away, Nate. I'm going to have to give it to Quinn Emerson tonight. He got 6 shots on net and a goal as well, too. Very good stats in that regard, and honestly, just looking at him tonight and the way that he played on the stat sheet, and not he was able to, he lost a face-off, but he was able to recover for it, and that's really what you want to see with Bowling Green. And the thing that I like the most about him, not only was he able to get the goal, he was also to get the attempts on. He kept trying and trying again. He got 6 shots on goal, as I mentioned earlier, but overall as a team, there was a lot of interesting players tonight. I mean, that you saw. I mean, they get the 3 goals overall. You get Ben Duran getting in there. You get Quinn Emerson and then Dominic Raimon. So you're getting them, and then you look at the shots, and there's quite the shot total for Bowling Green tonight overall. They got 20 shots on goal to St. Thomas's 38, and they attempted 45. St. Thomas attempted 59. So those are 2 interesting things I saw as well, but also for Bowling Green, they'll get 4 penalties tonight, and St. Thomas will only have 2. So kind of starting to see a little bit more of that Coach Willie style of play that, he kind of harps on. He likes to be really physical, and the physicality there tonight is what kept Bowling Green in this one, and kind of lost a bit of their edge in the third period to give up 2 unanswered, but just turned it right back and around about as quick, as St. Thomas got their second goal of the game into the third period. So, there's only 6 seconds left when St. Thomas scored that one, but Bowling Green just answered right back in overtime, which is what you want to see, and just going to be a night of rest, a night of recovery, and then tomorrow Tomorrow, Wise is where things are really going to get interesting. But for now, we're going to see Bowling Green get their 4th win in St. Paul, Minnesota during the series.
All right, and taking a look now at what's going on around the CCHA. First off, tonight, the Lake Superior State Lakers defeating the Ferris State Bulldogs 2-1. Minnesota State Mavericks defeated the Michigan Tech Huskies 3-0. And the Bemidji State Beavers defeated the Northern Michigan Wildcats 7-3. Taking a look at what else is going on in Falcon Athletics, a quick update on that Bowling Green Falcons women's basketball game. 7:07 left in the 4th quarter for that. The UC Irvine Anteaters have a big lead over the Bowling Green Falcons, 66-37 against 7:07 left in the 4th quarter for that one. So the Falcon hockey team back in action tomorrow evening. 7:07 puck drop for that, 7:07 Eastern time at least. And that will be once again against the St. Thomas Tommies from Minnesota.
Well, sounds great. I'm going to be looking forward to that. But on the all-time series, Bowling Green will get their 4th victory in St. Paul. So going to be looking forward to that, what could be the final game that Bowling Green will play in St. Paul. So far, we'll just have to see when the conference is getting readjusted as they'll go to the NCHC. The Tommies see where they can go. Bowling Green, though, going to stay in the CCHA, and we'll have to keep it going because you never know. These could be 2 teams that we'll see battling it out for the Mason Cup at the end of the year.
And once again, you, as well as Gavin Gill, will be on the call for that tomorrow night, or will be in studio for that. Nathan Burkett will be on the call up in Minnesota for that. Yeah, it's going to start to wrap things up for our coverage tonight. Again, that game coming up tomorrow night, 7:07 puck drop for that. Pregame coming up around 6:40 here on WBGU 88.1 FM. But yeah, it's going to wrap things up for us tonight. Dan, thanks for hanging out with me in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Again, a busy weekend of Falcon Athletics coming up between WBGU and Falcon Radio. Again, that hockey matchup tomorrow evening here on BGU. But over on Falcon Radio, Bowling Green Volleyball at 4 and 7 p.m., including at 7 p.m. The Falcons will be in action taking on Western Michigan. Falcons defeating OU tonight in 4 sets. So they're going to be taking on Western Michigan tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and that'll be over on Falcon Radio. You can listen to that on bgfalconmedia.com. Then after that, that women's basketball game still in play, and I forgot how it works out, but either women's basketball will be at 9:15 p.m. tomorrow night on Falcon Radio or 11:30 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1. So we'll see how late of a night Lucas, Trey, and Adam will have. So yeah, anyways, that's going to wrap things up for us tonight, though, here on WBGU 88.1 FM. We're heading on out of here. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconmedia.com.